All right. Talk about Genesis. Genesis 21. So we got through Genesis through 20, right? Was Abraham and Abimelech, um, and it was this. Had we heard that story before? She's not my wife; she's my sister, right? The the melody keeps playing, and we keep hearing things kind of over and over again, and this week will be no different. It's a kind of a repeat of some place we've already been in the narrative. So what is here that is the promise and is a good thing is kind of soured by just the way we treat each other. And as I was thinking about that, right, Abraham and Sarah, they continue struggling with their trust. And it's interesting as we've read through this. At one moment, they're all in, right? They're gung ho. They're on the right road. They're fired up. And then the next moment, like they don't even trust at all. Anybody else been on that path? Right? Like we're ready, we're fired up, we're ready to right charge the gates of hell with a water pistol, right? We're in it. And then the next moment we're just like, God, where are you? Are you here? What are you doing? Right? And I think that's a natural journey that we're on, and that's where Abraham and Sarah they find themselves, and they're in this push and pull until well, in a couple chapters, God's going to get their attention in a different way, and we'll get to we'll talk about that. But at this moment, they continue to doubt, they continue to struggle, and in that doubt and struggle, watch what happens. In the doubt and the struggle, what's the temptation? When trust is hard to find, what's the temptation? Take matters into your own hands. That's exactly it. And I think that's true for them. That's true for us, right? When we're not sure what's happening, when we're not sure, God, are you moving? You know what? I better just do this myself. You better just, I don't, God, maybe you're sitting this one out. I'll take over. I got this. All right. How's that going to work out for us? How's that going to work out for Abraham and Sarah? It just continues to be a struggle for them. And here we're replaying these previous failures. We saw the failure last week. We're going to look at another failure this week. We're going to look at Hagar and Ishmael here this morning. Abraham and Sarah continue to struggle. I think we've looked at that. And what we see, though, but they're the covenant partners. They're the chosen ones. And yet they still are struggling here. 2 chapters ago, Abraham's on the high place. He's interceding, man. He's being who he's called to be. And then the next passage, right? Was he bringing blessing to people? No, he brought curse, right? He brought infertility. He brought the anti-blessing upon the people. The blessing was to be fruitful and multiply, and through his actions, there was no more multiplication. There was no more conception. There was no more babies. Just the whole blessing system came grinding to a halt until God continued to walk in and intercede. And that's the pattern we're going to keep looking at. It's walking through the ups and the downs, right? It's when God moves, and it's trying to keep our trust in a place where we're not following this same roller coaster that Abraham and Sarah's on, right? And I think that's really what this passage tells us. So someone read 21 1-7, and let's dig in a little bit here. This one's fun. I mean, it's terrible and it's awful, but like just how the writer is so smart here in the way he sets this up. So someone read that for us.
The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the time of which God had spoken to him. Abraham called the name of his son, who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh over me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. Through what?
That's it. That's it. I'm 43 and couldn't imagine having a baby. Just about 100, you know, like, man, that's something in itself. And just, how about just the fact that this happened, right? This is a miracle. There's no way this should have happened for two reasons. One, Sarah's 100 years old. And two, right, she's barren, right? She can't have kids. And now look at what's going on here. Go ahead, Joe.
That was in that day, not this day.
You're right. You are right. Absolutely right. Abraham lives to a long time past this. So, you know, maybe 100 to them is middle age. But still, he's been walking for a long time. And yeah, I can't imagine that. So verse 1 and 2, you notice a repetition there. What do you see? Okay, yeah, absolutely. What's the word that just, so when I read this, I see the
Promised.
It's promised and Yahweh. So those two words are connected. Yahweh visited Sarah just as he said, right? Yahweh did for Sarah just as he spoke, just as he promised, just as he said, just as he spoke, just as he promised. And Sarah became pregnant and gave birth to a son in his old age at the appointed time that Yahweh had spoken, that Yahweh had promised. We notice a pattern, right? It's Yahweh doing it. It's Yahweh moving. It's Yahweh doing what he said he would do. And he brought a son. And he gave him the name. Remember what that name was? Laughter. He gave him the name Laughter. And it's so interesting. How so far in the passage has laughter been used in a positive sense or in a negative? Is negative, right? It's doubt. Every time before, God kept telling them, you're going to have a son, and they kept laughing because of their doubt. And in fact, you know, Abraham, man, he's rolling around on the floor thinking this is funny. And yeah, she did too. Same thing. She laughed. I didn't laugh, right? That's what she said. What God tell her? Yeah, you did. Right? Don't you love it when we try to tell God something? God, I didn't laugh. I didn't do that, right? Yeah, you did. All right. So when his son Isaac was 8 years old, Abraham circumcised him as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac was born to him. Now listen to this. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. Right? And so we're seeing laughter is kind of being, it's a mixed response here. It's kind of being flipped. Can laughter be a good thing also? Yeah, absolutely, right? It's joy. It's jubilation, right? This thing has happened, and she's excited. So now laughter starts becoming a celebration. And I love this, verse 7. This is what really got me this week. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Who would have said that? How many times, right? In verse 1 and 2, did the writer tell us how many times that God is going to do this, right? The Lord was gracious to Sarah, as he said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore him a son in his old age at the very time God had spoke to him. That word promise is the Hebrew word spoke. That God spoke, and God spoke. And then Sarah says, who could have guessed this would happen? You get it? It's a joke, right? Who could have guessed this would happen? This is just, it's out of nowhere, right? Just as Yahweh said, just as Yahweh said, just as Yahweh said, who could have predicted this would happen, right? Is this a surprise to God? Should have this been a surprise to Sarah?
Yeah.
No, right? And now it's how this thing is kind of unraveling, and she's almost celebrating the doubt that she had. Yeah, right. That's her. You're right, Teresa. That's been her MO up to this point, and she's just gonna keep on rolling with it. You still think that Sarah's got some growing to do? We're gonna find out, but I'm gonna say yes. There's beauty in this moment, right? The promised seed has come, but it also shows human nature being what it is, and her human nature is there's still doubt there, and these joys are still filled with mixed motives and emotions, and still needs some growth here. Someone read 8 through 13.
I think about was about to be mean. Abraham prepared a huge feast to form a vacation. But Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Abraham, who was Easter, making fun of her son Isaac. So she turned to Abraham and demanded, get rid of that slave woman and her sons. He is not going to share the importance of this. This upset Abraham very much because Ishmael was his son. God told Abraham not be upset over the boy and your servant. Do whatever Sarah tells you, for I will but I will also make a nation descendants of Hagar's son, because he is your son too.
So the child grew and was weaned. Abraham had a great feast. Why are they feasting? He's growing up. This is life, right? This is fruitfulness, multiplying. This is an Eden moment, right? And we're meant to see that. This is new creation. This was creation where everything around them said this can't happen, right? And in that moment, there's creation. But Sarah sees something and that perplexes her. What does she see?
Ishmael
Okay.
making fun of her son.
Making fun of her son. Any other translations? Laughing. Okay. So I think this is one of mine NIV says making fun of, and I think that takes a liberty here that the writer's not trying to say. Right. So mocking. So the word there is the form of Yishak, is Isaac. It's laughing. She saw Ishmael laughing. Now we know laughing could mean that you're laughing. Well, it's the whole thing, right? Are you laughing with someone or are you laughing at someone? Right? And so there's a line there. We're actually not told why or what he's laughing about. All Sarah sees is Ishmael laughing. So that could mean that he was mocking. What else could that mean? That he was having fun.
How old would he have been?
13.
So he's still a kid.
He's a kid. This is a kid. This is not.
10-year-olds can be kind of jerks.
Well. Right? But yeah, so even if he was mocking, let's keep that in mind. This is a 13-year-old little boy, right? Who's still growing, who's still whatever, right? Did he deserve this?
No.
He did not. Whatever he was doing, He did not deserve what's coming at him here. But the word there is laughing, and I think that's a much better translation here. That it's actually to cause laughter. So he did something to cause laughter.
People to laugh.
Yeah, she's right. She's been about laughing. It's about though. It's who I want to celebrate who I want to celebrate. Right. I want people to be celebrating my son, not this other boy. What's going on here? Jealousy. It's jealousy through and through and through and through and through.
Just use it as an excuse.
Right.
Well, oh, I saw this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Does Sarah want this stuff? Huh?
Get rid of him.
Yeah. Who started this? That's a great point, Diane. Sarah did. Yes. Uh-huh.
It started way before with the you know, the slave person.
With Hagar, right.
And, even though it was her idea.
She starts all this, she puts this in motion, and guess what? Who doesn't like how this is turning out? It's Sarah, right? And this is all her own doing. Can she see that? She cannot see this. In her mind, she's got it worked out. Who does she think is the victim here? Her. She thinks she's the victim. Who's doing the oppressing? She is. In what she's imagined herself to be the victim, she is oppressing other people. You know how easy it is to do that? When we get into our own head and we start doing things ourselves, we start taking and all of a sudden, right, we've created these scenarios in our heads, and someone else becomes the villain, someone else becomes the victimizer, and we start making decisions out of that, and we will see that only brings harm, save God's intervention. And that's exactly what we're going to see. I love this when it says the child was weaned, but Sarah started seeing. I was seeing affected the narrative thus far.
See what they want.
They see what they want. What did Eve see? The fruit and knowledge, and she saw it with her own eyes, and that same word that Eve saw is used here. We're meant to see that Sarah is looking in her own eyes. She's seeing with her own eyes. She's taking what she wants to see, and that's affecting how this plays out here.
She's not really seeing Ishmael. She's seeing her own.
That's it. That's it. Right. This little boy is life, like 13-year-old Ishmael.
It's her son.
It's her son. As a surrogate, you're right. You're right. This should be her son.
Because Hagar would still be considered his wife.
So, yes, but then in the last passage, basically, Sarah asks Abraham to disown her. So, right. So she was his wife, and then there seems to have some separation from that. So now she's back to being considered a slave. But Abraham allowed that. So let's don't lose. We're kind of hitting on Sarah a little bit. Let's don't lose sight of Abraham's role in all this, right? Could Abraham have made this go any number of different ways? Yeah. Absolutely. He had the power. He had the ability, right? He is the chosen one that received the call first, right? And he has all the power to do this. And what did he do? He played, didn't he? He didn't do anything. He sat by and watched it happen. Go ahead.
For you, Adam.
Yeah.
escaped and he made me do this.
You're exactly right. This story is laying right on top of all the stuff we see, and it's so easy to bag on Sarah, like, oh man, here she goes again. But Adam's sitting by, and what's he doing? Nothing. Nothing. And he has the ability to change it. And actually we find that he becomes distressed about it. But we're starting to see the story set up, right? Just had a son. She names him Laughter, and it's joy, but it's also that doubt, that jealousy, and it's all kind of mixing in here. But now this spirit of competition is still there, right? It's this jealousy. It's her versus me, and it's her or me. And when you've already got that in your head, I think you're just looking for a reason. Oh, that boy is making like they have to leave, right? Do you think that situation was the final straw, or that was the whole conflict? No, like she's been thinking about this. She's been processing this. This was a good opportunity to get rid of her. What she thinks of her competition or her enemy. She says, get rid of. So this get rid of is banish. This is the word used for exile. Exile her. Rivalry between mothers is now rivalry between sons. Any other sons? If this is mapping on Genesis 3, any other rivalry between sons? Genesis 3 leads to Genesis 4, right? So if this is mapping Genesis 3, now there's this rivalry between sons. Is the rivalry really between the sons, though? No. Who is it? It's moms. Yeah, it's moms. And we're not really told what Hagar's role in any of this. We're not told that Hagar's done anything to deserve this, but we sure are pointed towards Sarah's response here. And who gets banished in the Cain and Abel story?
Yeah.
Cain does, right? The older, non-chosen son gets banished in that story. Who gets banished in this story? The older, non-chosen son. But this time, who is the jealous, selfish one? Is it Cain? No, it's Sarah. And we're seeing, right, this nothing new here, right? The pattern keeps repeating. And we continue to see this over and over and over. How often now do we see the chosen ones acting like how we would expect the non-chosen ones to act? Right? And now banishment is because of jealous anger towards the unchosen. What do you think Abraham's feeling? Mine says distress, verse 11. Any other?
Displeasing.
Displeasing?
Very displeasing.
Okay. Anything else? Displeasing. All right. So the word there for distressed or displeased is raw. Anybody remember what that word means? Tov and raw. Huh? It's evil. It says the matter, Abraham found the matter evil. You think he's just a little sad about this?
Well, it's his son.
It's his son. Yeah. Yeah. This is more than just a little bit of sadness. I don't think kind of gets us to the full extent of what the writers is saying here. He found this just flat out evil. Why does he find this so evil? What's the judgment on this boy?
He knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, he's casting him out into the wilderness with no support, no family.
Death sentence.
Yeah.
You're right. So this is a death sentence. They just condemned this boy to die. His own son. Can you imagine? Like it breaks my heart to think about that. And he doesn't like it, right? Tov is to bring life. Ra is evil, right? And Abraham does truly find this evil. And she's condemning him to die for what? Jealousy. For jealousy.
From his inheritance.
Okay, yeah, sure. No, that is certainly a part of this. But this person who was just counting all her blessings, filled with joy, has now been robbed of all of that, right? All her joy is gone. Who robbed her of that? She did.
She just had proof of how good God is, and then she's immediately, not immediately, it's just that, and not trusting.
That's it. That's it. Not trusting that God could sort this out. Not trusting that God can continue to work through the chosen while continuing to look to the best needs of this other boy, right? And C.S. Lewis actually makes a great connection to this point. He says, it was through pride that the devil became the devil. Pride leads to every other vice. It is the complete anti-God state of mind. Pride is the root, right? Who started this? It was her, right? And it was in her pride. Oh, I'm going to do this in my way. And then it doesn't work out, and her pride continues to move and navigate and to scheme, and it continues to unravel, right? And that's just, I love that quote. This is how the devil became the devil, was pride. And pride roots to everything else. The point is that each person's pride is in competition with everyone else's pride, right? Because if you're proud and I'm proud, and there's a conflict there, right? And we'll continue to see those things as we butt heads about it, right? If everyone was rich, what would there be to proud about? If everyone was good at something, some skill, how could we be proud, right? No, we have to have some upper step on someone else, right? And that's the world the devil would love us to just continue to race in, is the spirit of competition. And spirit of competition brings jealousy, it brings doubt, and then it brings conflict. And we continue to see that. Pride is enmity. And Sarah's pride leads her to this point. I am the chosen one. What does she call Hagar here? So in the first passage, when we read about her, she called her maidservant. Hagar, Abraham, take my maidservant. Is there a difference between those two terms? Yeah. What's the difference? There's a hierarchy, right? Your maidservant, you trust in your household. You put trust in them. They're serving with you. A slave is just, how do you think they treat slaves?
Or somebody equal to below you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And she calls, I am the chosen one. Hagar is a slave. She starts calling her foreigner. Why is she a foreigner? Let's talk about that for a second.
She doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Well, she's an Egyptian.
She's from Egypt, and why is she here? It never stops, right? It never stops. My son makes laughter, not your son. I think after everything is settled, that is really what's being said. My son is the one supposed to bring laughter, not your son. If your son's bringing laughter, you're stealing my son's thunder. Competition. And it's rearing its ugly head, and she's willing to hand out a death sentence because of it. Can you see that? The matter was felt raw to Abraham. because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be so distressed about the boy and your slave woman. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of a slave into a nation also, because he is your offspring. Someone flip back and read 16:2, and someone flip back and read 3:17. Need a 16:2 and a 3:17.
16:2 says, so she said to Abram, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go sleep with my slave. Perhaps I can build a family through her.
Okay. Perhaps I can build a family through her. Did she? Yeah, there's a boy, right? All right. Someone read 3:17.
Adam said, because you listened to your wife to eat fruit from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life.
Because of your wife, because you listened when something was being spoken that wasn't right, and you listened to it. That's what we heard in both, right? Sarah tells Abraham, go sleep with my maidservant. And what does Abraham do? He does it. Is that the right decision? No, absolutely not. It's just like it was just like Adam, right? Because you were right there the whole time and you did nothing. This is happening. And so this is kind of all falling back on Abraham. Is he excusing Sarah's actions? Because Abraham didn't step up and do what he was supposed to do. Does that excuse Sarah? No, absolutely not, right? I see this as Yahweh working in a complex, sometimes evil situations that we make for ourselves, and Yahweh is continuing to work in the middle of it, right? God promised Isaac will be the seed, but he also promised that Ishmael would be a head of a nation. So what is God to do? Yeah, he takes what Sarah means for raw and he turns it into mercy. How could this be a mercy for Hagar and Ishmael?
Saves them from death.
Saves them from death. What else?
Currently living in a very hot.
Yeah, right. Okay, absolutely. Every move Hagar makes, she feels like she's under a microscope. You think life is good for her at this moment? How about Ishmael?
Probably as long as Sarah's not around.
Yeah. How would it be to grow up feeling like you're not wanted?
Well, and earlier it said that Sarah began to mistreat.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome.
She's making her life miserable at this point. Let's finish this off. Someone read 14 to 21.
Early in the morning, Abraham got up, took bread and a water skin, put them on Hagar's shoulders, and sent her and the boy away. She left and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she left the boy under one of the bushes and went and sat at a distance about a bow shot away, for she said, I cannot bear to watch the boy die. While she sat at a distance, she wept loudly. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is wrong, Hagar? Don't be afraid, for God has heard the boy crying from the place where he is. Get up, help the boy up, and grasp his hand, for I will make him a great nation. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well. So she went and filled the water skin and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy, and he grew. He settled in the wilderness and became an archer. He settled in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt.
All right. This whole story is a mess, right? Like just how all this happened and all the things that had to happen for this whole situation to be set up, right? From taking slaves when they shouldn't have taken slaves, from doing things our own way. And all this kind of culminates here, and it's a mess. And who's still walking in the mess? God is. Like, at some point, we might imagine ourselves, God, like, all right, I'm done with you. I'm out. Like, you guys continue to mess this all up when I continue to put things right. Like, I'm just going to be done with you. Is that how God responds? It's not. How come? Promises. Because Abraham and Sarah is the covenant partner. God made the who walked through the splitting of the halves.
Oh, God.
It's all God. It was all God. It continues to be all God.
Abraham keeps messing up. Everyone keeps messing up, and he just has to keep
Yes.
making a way.
Keeps making a way. Right? Because these are his covenant partners, and he made a promise. And he keeps entering the mess. And even though Abraham's actions are starting to pile up, and his family's feeling the pain, where is Hagar and Ishmael sent? The desert, the wilderness. Is creation or decreation? They're sent into chaos, right? They're sent into decreation. And Cain is sent into the wilderness. And what is his response? What was the first response, though, that he tells Yahweh? You remember?
Everyone's gonna be.
Everyone's going to kill me. I will surely die. I'm into the wilderness, and I will surely die. What is Hagar's response here? Same thing, right? And in the Cain and Abel story, right? Who cries out to God? The ground, because of the blood of Abel. And now who's crying out? The voice of the victim cries out again, right? Abel was dead, but his blood still cried out. He was the victim, right? And now the victim here is Hagar, who still cries out. And what happens when voices cry out to God in the narrative? He answers. He hears. He listens. Not only does he hear, he responds. Is this the first time God has responded to Hagar in the wilderness? It's not. It's not. Right?
God tried to intervene.
Yes.
That would work, but what was it, chapter 16, where he sent her back,
Right? Yeah.
and here he tells Abraham not to be so distressed about the boy. Be what Sarah tells you.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess God knew that it wasn't gonna work,
Well, yeah.
you know?
But he still.
That God heard the voice of the boy.
Okay, so that's second.
Well, it says Hagar was crying out, but then God heard the voice of the boy.
Yeah. So Hagar's not the only one crying, right? Is Hagar the only victim here?
No.
Now we got two victims crying.
Sent off by his spot where he deserted by his mother.
Yep.
Sitting under a bush, he's going.
Yeah.
Well, they were out of water.
Okay, what were they sent off with?
One skin of water.
One skin of water. Here's a water bottle. Michael's got a water bottle there. Here's your water bottle. What kind of desert are we looking at to cross from Egypt, from Israel to Egypt? Huh?
It's huge.
It's huge. Is a water bottle going to get you there? Did they have any expectation that they would make this? No. There's no chance. There's no chance without divine intervention here. That they would have survived this.
Is this a sample of Abraham trusting that God said he would make him a great nation?
Yeah, Abraham listened, right? And God's the one that said, let him go. And I think I see that as, well, for one, that Abraham listens. For two, this is a mercy for Hagar and Ishmael. But yeah, I think so.
Well, God gave two great nations too.
He did. Do two great nations come out of this?
One has a bad attitude.
Great in the numbers, right? Great is numbers, multitudes, right? Are there two multitudes that come out of this? Yeah, there sure are. Who allowed that to happen? Sarah? Abraham. Who else allowed this to happen? If God would have let this boy die in the desert, how would have history changed? And it's easy for us to say that. Is that God's purpose? Is that how God works? He's not. He's not willing to sacrifice Ishmael because Ishmael is part of the promise.
It's got to be over. Okay, now.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Surely I will die. Gave her a skin of water. He set them on the shoulders and then sent her off with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. When the water and the skin was gone, she put the boy under the bushes. Then she went off and sat down about a bow shot away. That's a weird unit of measure. About as far as you can shoot a bow. That's about how far this boy is. An arrow. That's right. Yeah, you.
Kind of,
I'm going to say it's a very traditional bow. I doubt they have a compound here. Right? And then, so a bow shot away. What's that? And then, okay, so that's a great connection. Why are they talking about bows so much all of a sudden?
Aiming at it?
because he becomes a hunter.
This is the second time we've seen the word bow. Where was the first time? Huh?
Rainbow.
The rainbow. That didn't say that this says bow. That's the bow in the sky. The rainbow is something we translate. So that's the only other time we've talked about bow. Now here we're hearing about bow again. What are we supposed to be connecting? Huh? That's a promise, right? The boy becomes an archer. The boy becomes a part of the promise. Why didn't God allow Ishmael to die? Because he's part of the promise. Huh? That's right. He promised Abraham. Couldn't allow this boy to die. And I think that's why, when you read this, it's like, man, why are we, that's a weird unit of measure, a bow shot. Like they have other ways to measure cubits or whatever. But now all of a sudden we're talking about bows in regards to Hagar and Ishmael. And Ishmael is a part of the promise. Even though it's going to turn out so bad between these two brothers. For generations and generations and generations and decades and millennia, right? And it's not getting any better, is it? It's sure not. It's sure not. And in our thinking, man, if God would have just let this boy die,
Maybe the world would have been.
yeah, maybe the world would be a better place. How is it easy to think like that?
There's consequences.
There is consequences to everything. Is God going to act justly every time? So for God to do that, he would have to act outside of his character. Will God do that? He never will. He never will. Even though he probably knows this is going to cause all sorts of hurt in the future. God is still a just God. And he will still respond in love and kindness and a part of the promise. And that's what we see.
And he
Here.
did that when Ishmael was born, and his name, he will be a donkey.
Yeah.
Man.
Uh-huh.
Fighting will be against.
Yeah. God knew this doesn't end well. God already foretold this. Just what you said.
Well, he's probably sitting there going, Abraham, don't do it, don't do it.
When she opened her eyes, what did she see?
Water.
Water in the wilderness. This is an Eden moment. Remember, in the chaos that surrounded, what did God bring forth? Water. In the wilderness for Hagar, she opens her eyes and she sees water. She goes, she's sent into exile, she's sent into decreation, she's sent out into the chaos, and God brings life in the middle of the chaos. This is another Eden moment, providing life in the middle of death, providing order in the midst of chaos. And she sends her to Beersheba, this well of 7.
It's interesting because he asked her what's ailing her.
Okay.
He knows.
Yeah. Great point.
And-
We've heard, we've kind of seen this play out before, right? So go ahead, finish that thought.
That's where I come up with okay, so he sees her, so he calls out to her the first time, and she's going, "Yeah, okay, and now it's the second time,
Mhm.
and it's distressful
Yep.
for her both times, but
Yeah.
he knows what's going on, but he brings her, brings her a calm.
Yeah.
Is what I'm
Absolutely. Yeah. We're not to think that Yahweh doesn't know what's happening here. He's very aware. And it's through these interactions, it's through this arrival of his presence that he talks her through it and helps her to see. And what ultimately restores Hagar and Ishmael from the death sentence they've been given. And so far as we get here, what seems to be the main deterrent from God's people acting like God's people? What's the root of it all? Themselves. It's all pride, right? It's pride. The stories, so what started all this with Cain and Abel? What was at the root of that? It's pride, right? And pride led to what in both situations? Pride led to jealousy. And pride, right? And we're seeing it, and it just continues to play out. God's going to have to get Abraham's attention, and it's not going to be a pleasant way, but this is setting up the testing of Abraham. And we'll have a lot to read about there. So, but that's where we'll stop today. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your word, Lord, just for showing us how hurtful and harmful pride is, leads to jealousy and leads to us to make so many decisions. And what was at the root of that pride was doubt. Lord, so just help our doubt, help our insistence on looking to ourselves first, and just how this all plays out and how harmful this truly is, how relationships are harmed, how families are harmed, how destructive these patterns really are, that we would see something different, that we would see what it means to love people like you love people, to hold people in esteem like you do, Lord God, to look for justice in all situations, because that's who you are, Lord. We thank you for that in the midst of this, Lord, that you continue to be faithful even when they are not. And I thank you for that in my life, when you have continued to walk with me when I was not faithful. So Lord, help us to continue walking this out daily, and to walk a different path than we have been reading here today. Lord, make us a light and a beacon to the world, not a curse. We thank you for that. Lord, give us a great rest of our morning this morning. We pray this in your name, Jesus. Amen.